Hello everyone, it's Serenity, Infinite Light. So, today's video, what I wanted to talk about was basically, you hear about basically the new earth, the earth changing, humanity ascending. And what I want to talk about is, what does that involve? Now, I won't be super scientific and go all into physics, some of which it's not even known yet. But basically, just like Jesus, he makes his teachings simple so that most people can understand them. So that's what I'm trying to do in this video. So many of you know about the sun and basically how it is very active lately, to say the least. And I also refer to sun as Baal, the Father, his energy in this dimension, that bright light power source. So basically, the sun is obviously a vibration, a wavelength, which creates a frequency, which is all of existence. So that's why Nikola Tesla, he's one of those that said, if you know certain things in physics, you will have the secrets of the universe. So the sun basically has these coronal mass ejections, which are called CMEs for short, and they actually have this energy that is directed toward the earth that affects what happens on the earth. Now, this isn't just me saying it. You can research this. It is scientifically proven that these ejections basically cause a certain effect here on the earth. Now, the earth actually acts as a plate of some type that affects all life on the surface. So the best way I can describe this is what energy, which is also sound, does to certain particles. So everything, and I mean everything, is made of atoms. So you have atoms, you have the nucleus, which is the center of the cell, and within that nucleus, now don't get lost here, within that nucleus, okay, you have basically neutrons and protons. Okay, now the electrons are outside of that nucleus and they are somewhat free, versus the neutrons and the protons, which are enclosed in that nucleus. So the electrons are basically what are more, they're not permanent is the best way for me to describe it. They're movable. So just knowing these things, you can see that the electrons within a cell can be changed. Now, this is also the reasoning behind electricity, where there are certain materials that the electrons are more fluid than other materials. Now, those materials that are not very fluid act as very good conductors. Actually, not conductors, insulators, because their electrons do not flow as freely around that nucleus as, let's say, another material. So you have copper, which has the electrons that are very movable. My scientific terms, they're not at all. They're very basic. And then you have materials like plastics, even wool, that the electrons are very stable, very hard to move. Now, I say this because I'm trying to compare it to things on the world, including humans, and why I teach that you have to let go of certain feelings and emotions in order for you to vibrate at a certain frequency. This is also important because this is exactly why the ones who are ruling this planet want to keep you in a certain vibration and frequency, because it matters. That's why I'm doing this video, so you can thoroughly comprehend what is going on around you. Because this isn't just about the Bible, this isn't just about people and Watchtower or any other religion. This is about what is occurring right now on this planet with humanity, with nature, with animals, everything, okay? So basically, what the sun is doing here on the planet is changing your very makeup. And as I had mentioned in other videos, there are different genetic makeups on this earth at this time. So there will be certain ones who are unwilling to change. They will not change their frequency. They will not change their vibration. So those ones could be considered those insulators, those materials that the electrons do not move freely. They are more permanent, you could say. But now that same concept is why the ones that rule this world do not want humanity to change their frequency and vibration. They essentially want them to be insulators rather than conductors. Now, conductors are those materials that the electrons actually, under certain circumstances, can jump from that particular atom or nucleus. Okay, so I did the best I could with what I have available to me at this time. Like I said, I am in a transitional state, but I'm coming up out of it. All I have to say is Venus was retrograde for a while, and that does affect me quite a bit. But yeah, coming out of that. So yeah, here's a diagram. All right, this is the best I could do, like I said, with what I have available. So hopefully you can see this. You have the sun, you have the CMEs, you have the earth, and then you have people on the earth and other, living things, basically. Now, I put here, the earth is a plate. Humans and life on this planet are basically like sand or salt. Okay, now the sun acts as a generator, basically, of sound, light, various rays and waves that affect this planet, Earth. So you could think about the sun and the earth working together in order to manipulate the sand or the life, especially people's, humanity, on this planet. It is also why in Revelation chapter 12, verse, I believe it's 19, it basically talks about when, you know what? Let me get my Bible. Hang on. I'm back, Bernie. Okay, so it's Revelation chapter 12 and verse 17. And I read this about the serpent and the woman, and I went into that not just being a story. It's actually a reenactment of what actually occurred millions of years ago, okay? But in 17, it says, then the dragon, mind you, we already know the dragon here is the one who rebelled, who is Satan, also known as Yahweh or Jehovah, okay? That is in other videos. If you guys are not familiar with that, I did cover that. So then the dragon became furious with the woman and went off to make war on the rest of her offspring, on those who keep the commandments of God and hold to the testimony of Jesus. Remember, Jesus was an aspect of Source and did teach that divine law of love. That is why he was so different from the God of the Hebrew scriptures, this Yahweh or Jehovah. He did not come here to represent Yahweh or Jehovah, which is why he never mentioned Yahweh or Jehovah by name in the Greek scriptures. Jehovah's Witnesses took it upon themselves to insert wherever they seen Lord, which I already covered as well. There are many Lords, but there is one universal or heavenly Father who is Lord in all capitals. Okay? So that is who Jesus was referring to, not this Yahweh. So Jehovah, Yahweh does not belong in the Greek scriptures, and Jesus never referred to him as his Father or in relation to Yahweh being his Father. I just want to reiterate that. That's why it says this dragon, basically went to make war on the rest of her offspring, which is Source's offspring, and that includes Yeshua or Jesus, because he would be included in one of the offspring. So it said, on those who keep the commandments of God and hold to the testimony of Jesus, and he stood on the sand of the sea. Remember, I just compared humanity and life upon it as sand, but especially humanity, because they are the ones that have strayed so far from vibrating in that source frequency that they are literally lost. Just chaotic. That's the best way to describe it, which is why this world is chaotic. But that is the way exactly these ones who took over this planet and are ruling it wanted it to be. So I am going to include some physics videos about sound and exactly how it creates different patterns and basically changes based on frequency and wavelength. This will hopefully give you a visual of what is actually happening around you on this planet. So I'm going to include that. Maybe I can include some things about electricity if I can find some very simple videos, but most of you probably could research this yourself and come up with videos to basically help you thoroughly understand what I just said, okay? So this is why also there are different meditation sounds, music that are certain vibrations and frequencies, hertz basically, to help you do different things because it does affect your cells. Okay, now sometimes you may feel good after listening and meditating to these frequencies, and sometimes you may actually feel strange. This is normal because of what I just told you. Sound has an effect, but also it depends on what material basically you are in that moment. So there's different materials, like I said, that do not conduct or transmute this sound into the cells efficiently as others do. So yeah, that's what I wanted to say about sound, frequency, energy today. So hopefully this helps you comprehend more of what is going on and what is planned. Now, this whole frequency and vibration thing is also why these light beings, interdimensional ones, cannot appear in full power because, as I mentioned before, at full frequency, it would tear other frequency and vibrations apart. The best way to describe it is like when you have sound in a crystal glass, and that frequency becomes so increased and so intense that the glass shatters, that same thing can happen with life. So you have to break down and become a frequency, wavelength, vibration that can assimilate into the world in that dimension, if that makes sense. Okay, that's it for today. I love you all. I am sending you my unconditional love, my peace, and I think about all of you all the time, what you're going through, what so many in this world are going through. I'm not clueless, but I can't focus on the negative because that will affect my assignment. So, yeah. All right, that's it. Take care, everyone. Once again, I will link videos either in the comments or the description of this video to help you visualize what I am trying to tell you is going on to create basically ascended beings and an evolution of this planet. Okay? Take care. Bye-bye.